Hey all, welcome to the Hosehead setup video, and you probably just received your new Hosehead unit, so you're going to wonder on how to set it up. In the box you're going to find 3 Nutric PowerCon connectors and a power cord, 3 pre-wired 1-wire temperature sensors. One of them is going to be yellow, one's going to be color-coded blue, and the other one's going to be black. It's going to be a set of keys and your Hosehead unit. So first thing we're going to do is plug it in. We got our HDMI cable going to our monitor, and we turned our monitor on, so that's going to initialize when we turn it on. And here's what the other end of those temperature sensor probes look like. And this has got 3 connectors in it. One of them is red, the middle is yellow, and the second one, or the third one, is black. So we have power, data, and ground. It's all pre-wired and assembled for you. We're just going to plug that into the unit, just snaps in place. And with my unit here, I just have a wireless USB and keyboard and mouse set up there, and I have my network input jack. So we got it all set up. We're going to flip on the power switch, and going to start up the little Raspberry Pi computer inside of it, and flash a bunch of mumbo jumbo on the screen, and it'll come to the desktop. Here's our Raspberry Pi desktop, and as you can see, it's got a bunch of pre-installed software on it that comes with the Raspberry Pi operating system, and you can play around and do some programming or surf the web, do whatever you want there. But on the desktop you're going to find an icon that says how to start Strange Brewer Eleanor. And so that's just a reference instruction there if you'd like. I will show you how we start the Eleanor server. Turn my mouse on here. Alright, once you get it up and running, to start the server, we have to go to LX terminal here. And we'll double click on that. And the first thing we need to know is what our IP address is. So we're going to type in sudo space ifconfig. And we'll hit enter. And if I could type one-handed and make a video, try this again. ifconfig, and I spelled it right that time. So on our second line here, it's going to tell us inet address is 192.168.1.173. So this is the address that my router gave my Raspberry Pi when I turned it on. So we're going to write that number down, and we'll be able to reference it in just a bit. But that's how we know where we need to go to run our Hosehead. So now that we know that information, we're going to start up the Eleanor server. And we're going to do that by typing in cd space Hosehead. And hitting enter. That's going to switch us to the Hosehead directory. And then we're going to type in /launch .sh and hit enter. It'll say starting Eleanor as Pi. And that's going to start up our Brewery control software. And it'll say server started, kill to stop. Now if you want to stop the the software, you hold down the control key on the keyboard and then hit the letter C, that will shut down the Hosehead Strange Brew Eleanor server. So we're going to start it up again. And we're already in the directory, so we're .launch sh. Hit enter. And that'll start our server back up again. Okay, so now we can either access it directly from our Raspberry Pi computer by going to the Epiphany web browser and typing in that address that we wrote down at the beginning. And but for right now, I'm going to pause this and set up my laptop and show you how I can access it from that. Alright, so I got my laptop out and I opened up Google Chrome. You can do this with Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer. Thing with Internet Explorer, you have to type in http:// before the address, otherwise it'll just take you to their search page. Otherwise, Chrome and Internet Explorer or Opera, just type in the address. So that's the address that we wrote down earlier. And then 8080/controller after that. That's going to bring up our interface. And this is how it comes pre-configured from out of the box. So what you see is element 2 is hooked to the blue sensor. Element 1 is hooked to the yellow sensor. Yellow sensor, blue sensor, and then we have a black sensor. So on the initial configuration, you can go in and change that to whatever you want. Say if you're running element 2 as your hot liquor tank, we can go in and change that name, and so on and so forth with whatever you want. And then pump 1 and pump 2 are configured to control pump 1 and pump 2. So you could use those to either control a pump, or you can control something to stir it, or whatever you feel like doing. And of course my computer always wants to update. Close that window. So that's the gist of it. Basically in about 5 minutes out of the box you can be up and running with that. And if you want to go in and edit the settings, we're going to click on edit. This is a touch screen, but and when we do that, it's going to bring up a different interface and allow us to change things where we can add timers, so on and so forth. We can change our logo here. We can also change the name of our brewery by double clicking on that and typing in a different name. And we can click on our sensors, and it's going to come up and say element 2 blue sensor. We can type something different in there. It also shows you what the GPIO of the Raspberry Pi is running that sensor and relay. And so we can go in and change that. We can also change this is set up where you could actually use it to control a refrigerator too, with the cooling mode if you wanted to. We're not going to get into that at this particular moment because this was pretty much designed for brewing, but you could actually use it for fermenting too if you wanted to. And you can go in and add mash steps and things like that. So we're just going to, oh, you can also change the temperature scale. Doug, the creator of the software, made a better video of explaining all this stuff and what it does, and so I will put in a link to that video too, so you can check that out. It gives it a little bit more in depth on how that works. So we're going to hit lock again, and that's going to change us back to our locked screen. And we can turn on our pumps. Right now there's nothing plugged in, but you can hear it click. And we can go in and play with the settings. If we want to do a manual mode, well, I can just plug this in real quick. A little test light plugged into this, so plug in a couple of things here. This is wired for 110 right now, just as a test light. The internal components of this can be wired. The wiring doesn't change inside of it. Basically, if you wanted to wire it for 240 or 120, you can do it either way, basically by how you wire the main connector here and what you plug it into. So, we gotta find our little key here. These keys control the on-off switch in the back. That's that safety kill switch. So we turn it on, that's going to turn our fans on and activate our high voltage circuitry. So we're on element 2, we're just going to say manual. And I'm going to put in a duty cycle of 50% and a duty time of 10 seconds. I'm going to hit send command. Hey, you can see our light come on, and then it goes off. That's basically how it's going to control that same heating element, virtually the same way. It turns the power on and off to that heating element, and you can see our duty cycle is at 50%. So that's it. Wraps up this video, and have fun making some beer, guys. Later.